All right, well today we're going to go through stormwater management with Civil 3D, and it's really based on the topology concepts that, there was a lunch and learn about it, and we started into it last class with doing the MPDS permit boundaries. So we're going to take that further, and I'm going to show you some things, and even if you've used this, if you're using this already, I think I'm going to show you some things today you haven't seen before. Discovered some new ways to approach it to streamline it a little further for how people like to set up their stormwater modeling differently. So I'm going to open up that topology drawing, which we had from last class, and in there, close down this other one, I have some line work that I've inserted in to do my pre-development. So last class, if you recall, we did the covers, soils. We went through detailed on how to set up your soil topology. Covers I sort of imported in, didn't have time to do that from scratch. And then we had the NPDS permit boundary, which we did all the way around the site. And we exported that into Excel spreadsheets to get our volume difference for our site. So if you missed that class, you can go back and review that video, of course, on the Engineering CAD Resources page. Today we're going to do the pre-post stormwater. And I'm going to shoot through pre here just real quickly and showing you how to set up a topology. So you can see on the screen, have some line work here that I outlined my pre-development drainage map. We're developing this site, the area of the site right down through here, through Basin 4, 3, and 5. So I've split it up. We have a channel coming down through here and another channelized section here, and this all goes into the wetlands, just straight feed into the wetlands and so on and so forth. Got some bypass area coming through a culvert here in the road, and same thing over here. So this is just normal AutoCAD polylines, nothing special about them. If I list it, it's just a polyline. And then this is normal AutoCAD text. Like I said before in some other classes you've probably heard, it's not M text, it's just normal text, or D text will work just fine for you. Did forget to mention, as always, if you do have a question, go ahead and post it up there and raise your hand, and I'll answer that when I see it there. So to make this into a topology, the first thing I need to do is I'm going to actually isolate the pieces of text that signify my different drainage areas. So this could be, I use Basin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of people would use POIA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is mimicking an old stormwater report, so sort of had those designations that I had to use already. Putting my centroids on my 00 DRN pre-centroid layer, and 00 DRN pre is the line work layer. And I guess if you did miss that last class, you wouldn't know that in this file we started that off with the topology template, not the Civil 3D template. So you want to start with this topology template for this specific drawing. That topology template does have pre-nested elements, and one of those is object data tables. So to assign object data to these pieces of text, which object data resides under the map pull down here, and you can see object data. And what object data is if I go into my AutoCAD properties palette and I select one of these pieces of text, you can see I have a couple different classifications. I have general, 3D visualization, text, geometry, and miscellaneous. We're going to add another piece of data to this piece of text. So we're going to create another one down here. And that's really what object data is. It's custom data you can attach to AutoCAD objects. To attach the object data table, I'm going to go to Database and hit Generate Links. I'm going to hit Text, hit Create Object Data Record, and hit this pull down and select my pre-DA object data table. And that data table is pre-nested in the topology template. So if you start with that template, that would be there for you already. You would, of course, make the text and make the line work and then go through these steps. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to hit S for select and window. Oops, hit that again. I had a piece selected already. Let me do that one more time. Hit S for select and window the pieces of text. Now if I click on that piece of text, you'll see another field here or another category of data, which is my object data table. And what the generate links did is took the content of the text. So if I look at text content, and it basically created or attached that object data table and took that text and put it and filled it in down here. So at this point, you can modify this whatever you want. I could call this 2A, for example, or let's make it more abrupt. Let's call it 2 object, or basin number 2 dash mark, so you'll see that on the backside. So I can edit that freely from the text, and you can notice the text still says basin number 2, but the object data is different. So I'm going to go ahead and unisolate my my geometry now, and I already cleaned up this line work. We covered that in a bunch of other classes and lunch and learns and whatnot, how to clean this line work up. It's already done. Use my map clean to do that. I'm going to open up my map Explorer. So that's map W space, and turn that on. So that opens up my map palette. I'm going to go down here to Map Explorer tab, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a topology. So I'm going to go right-click on here, hit Create Topology, call this Pre-DA, and again, covered in other classes, again, how we know what to call that. Well, we go to our R, AutoCAD, we go to the R Templates Topologies directory and open up this topology convention. And the first page on there shows us our pre-development, and here's the topology name that I need to use for this whole system. So pre-development, pre-DA right there. And you can see the object data I attached was the pre-DA as well. So sort of the same names. And you can see the layers it shows you, and so on and so forth. It's going to be a polygon topology. Hit Next. The links are the lines, so those reside on the 00 DRN pre-layer. The centroids, you can skip these next two. Select node and create new node. Go down to select centroid. The centroids are the pieces of text. So that's that text, the basin 5, and so on and so forth, where we attach the object data. That's on this layer. And always come down to create new centroid and uncheck that. Hit finished. Okay, so that created our pre-development topology. So I'm going to go ahead and do my analysis for this. So I'm going to right-click on Analysis and hit Overlay. And I'm going to hit Load. And again, going to this topology conventions PDF, I'm looking down through this. Now I'm doing my combination topologies, which is going to be my overlay analysis essentially. And I'm going to do and use these templates to make it easier on myself. And I'm going to do pre-development areas over soils. So I know to use, I'm going to load up template number 2. I'm going to right-click on the DA pre, load up template number 2, and overlay it with soils. So load up number 2. These are in the same location, R, templates, topologies. So everybody has them. O2. It's going to set everything here. Hit Next. Just make sure it's looking at soils. And hit Finished. It's going to say it's going to load the soils one because it's not loaded. You can see it's unshaded here. It's going to load that up. And it's going to do the breakdown for all these different drainage areas and all the soil types. So we're going to do that same thing again. Hit Analysis, Overlay. Do Load. Number 3 is the next one. You could validate that just by looking here. Now I'm going to do my pre-soils over my cover. So I'm right-clicking on the pre-DA soils, loading 3, going over the pre-cover. Next, validate that it's doing pre-cover. You always have to check this stage. Hit Finished. Okay, so Civil 3D essentially just did the breakdown of all my pre-development areas for me. So I'm going to export this out. So I'm going to come up to Civil 3D pull down, hit Map, go to Query, hit Run External Query, come down here to the R Templates Topologies directory again, and I'm going to match up, what do I want to export? Well, I want to export this pre-DA soils _CV. So I'm going to select that one, pre-DA_soil CV. Hit OK. It's going to push out and make a CSV file for me. So I'm going to come to the Xshare directories where it's going to locate that. And you can see it's right there. So in last class we talked, you would take this this text file and you bring it into your P drive location where you're doing all your calcs, your stormwater directory and the reports, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to cut this, paste it into here, and what you want to do here as well is under your R templates topology directory, there's an Excel file called HydroFlow and HydroCAD compress. So Civil 3D aggregated these drainage areas down into their smallest differences. So every different soil type with different cover type with different drainage area. So we need to sort of combine those back together for areas that are matching. This area up here might be hydraulic soil group B in meadow, and the same thing. Let me look here. Maybe it's hard to tell how you would do that, but maybe there's this soil. Imagine this soil type came away. Oh, here's a good example. This might be hydraulic soil group B for basin 1, and the same thing down here. This might be hydraulic soil group B, and it's meadow, same as up here. But maybe hydraulic soil group C goes between and sort of bisects it. So these are two different areas. Well, this Excel spreadsheet is going to recombine this area with this area. So if we broke it all down, we need to add some of them back together, combine some of them back together, and that's what this spreadsheet will do for us. So I would copy this spreadsheet, put it in my project location, and maybe rename it so it makes sense to me. We're going to call it pre-stormwater management. Double click on it. You must enable macros or it won't work. And you're going to get this panel open up, Stormwater Analysis Control Panel. This would not be filled out initially, and we'll get to that just in a second. I'm going to go ahead and up to the File Open dialog here and browse out and open that text file we just created. Notice I have to change it to all files for the file type and open that up. Change it to it's a comma delineated file, so I have to tag a comma there. Hit next and hit finished. And in here you'll have the whole breakdown of all the different areas. So there's 76 distinct areas. Some of them have commonalities that we can add back together. I'm going to hold down Shift and Control on my keyboard, and I can hit the last cell and go left and go up to select all the cells. Hit copy. Go to my pre-analysis. Instead of using, last time we used the map import MPDS, we're going to use map import drainage this time. They look the same, just they have different function in the calc part and all the worksheets. Go up, and I'm just going to paste that into my my record here. Now, if you were copying a brand new worksheet, please don't forget you have to do another step here and put in your soil types and the hydraulic soil group they are for all the soils that cover the area of your site. Essentially from here I am done. I need to go back to the control panel, and what I would do here is enter in a path where you want to make a new HydroCAD file. So right from this Excel spreadsheet, we're going to generate a HydroCAD file. So I already have it pathed up here. I'm just going to put it on my C drive because it's training. I'm going to make a directory called HydroCAD and call it pre, and then what's important, and it's outlined here, is make sure you have the HCP extension on there, just as shown below. Well, we used, the first step if you're copying a new sheet, you have to enter your soils. The next step, you'd have to put in your MPDS data, which we did that last class. We entered in our drainage area data. We just did that here, entered in our drainage area data. So our next thing we're up to is update a HydroCAD file. So this could really be used as create or update. Might be a more appropriate name for that button. So I'm going to hit that button, and of course I get an error. Okay, probably know what's the problem there already. Okay, so missed a step there. You have to have that directory created. So if I had this in a subdirectory under post-construction stormwater management. I had another directory called HydroCAD, but I didn't have that directory made. So when it went out to create the file, I couldn't find the directory. What it's asking me now is it's saying, hey, I can't find the HydroCAD file, and it can't find those nodes in it. So it's going to create the nodes for me. I'm going to, of course, hit yes. It says your HydroCAD file has successfully been updated and or created. I'm going to hit OK. Now, if I go into that directory, I now have a HydroCAD file. So I'm going to double-click on that. Expand this out here a little bit more. And you can see what it does, since it doesn't know really where to place them. It puts them on top of each other. But I can pull these out and have all my different drainage areas. And what did I get by that? Well, if I right-click on any one of these now and hit Edit, it's already populated with my drainage area and the breakdown of the different curve numbers. So just in that one drainage area, we had 5 different, this one's really small, 5 different area types. And, different breakdowns of soil type and curve number type. So that's 5 in there. That's a lot of tracing to delineate 5 different, and there's 5 different, or, it's 5 different in here as well, and so on and so forth. So these are all filled in. So now from this point, really, you're getting your time of concentration. Unfortunately, you still have to do that manually. So I'd have to go into Edit, go to time of concentration, and fill this out. In pre, there's a bit of work there to do. But, you have a good start, and you didn't have to perimeter or trace around anything. So that's pre. So let's do post, because there's some tricks with post as well that really pull this together. In my file here, I can freeze these. These are actually the overlay topology line work, and they're going to be an 01 designation. So you have the originals are 00, the overlays are 01, so I can freeze those 01 layers, and those will freeze then. Let me set my layer to active here so I only get the layers in this drawing. Okay, and my post line work I already have brought in. Okay, so this is my delineation for post. So to save some time, again, I went through and delineated all my post drainage areas. Now, something new that I'm going to show today is how you can use this one set of line work to do different topologies of drainage area. So you'll see it as I go here, and essentially how I've been doing this in the past is I would break down my stormwater report to this detailed level. So I'd actually have a node for inlet I-13, I-11, I-10, so on and so forth. But not a lot of people like to do that. They just have, all these inlets drain basically to this one pond. So for management, they want a drainage area that is essentially just, let's say it's this. For management, they just want a drainage area that shows, that area going to pond 1. And the same thing for what goes to pond 2. I'm going to show today how you can use this single set of line work to get that. So you don't have to have I-13, I-11, and all that in your HydroCAD file, but you will still benefit by having that here for your HydroFlow file, which is your inlet design. So let me go through it and hopefully understand. If you have questions, we'll address them at the end or ask them as we go. So how I'm going to start off with every project, though, is I'm going to map my drainage lines to the smallest aggregate. So the smallest aggregate is going to be your inlets. So I'm going to draw my inlet drainage areas for every project. And once I have that done, I'm at this stage, and I'm going to put a piece of text again. This is just standard text, nothing special with it, to each drainage area map. And I forgot to do something there. Let me just noticed it. Digress here for a second. Apologize. Forgot to detach some of this stuff. Hit it again. There you go. Yes. Okay. Now it's just plain old text. There we go. I forgot to detach all the object data tables because, of course, I ran through this already. So that's just a piece of plain old text with the inlet designation. And as we're doing this, keep in mind, you're doing two things at once. You're doubling up on your time because it's not like you're doing the stormwater management and then somebody else has to do the drainage exhibits, which is a whole another 4 hours after. You know, you're doing both at the exact same time. Getting your drainage areas, getting everything ready to calc, and you know, essentially you're just going to XREF this. So when you're placing this text, place it so it looks nice, and you can just XREF it into an exhibit, put a border on it, and bam, there's your drainage area map. 2-for-1 deal. So keep that in mind. That's, you know, all about optimization there. We're going to do the same steps. We're going to go up, and we're going to go to database, and hit generate links again. Before I do that, of course, I want to isolate my text. Database, generate links, text, create object data record. Okay, well, I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to do inlet for now. The first thing we're really going to do here is drainage area, but let me attach an inlet for now so you can see what's going to happen here. So I'm going to hit OK, and I hit select, of course, and select everything, and hit OK there again. And now I can go down, and I can see it did just like what it did on the pre. It attached a post inlet object data record, and it filled out whatever the text was, and it filled that in the data record. Okay, so that's that. So that one's good to go. We're good there because these designations are what I'm going to use for my inlet drainage maps. So let's here's the trick is I can go and hit generate links again, hit add text, create object data record, and I'm going to add in my post DA object data table. So hit OK, hit select, highlight them all, and then hit OK. So doing that, if I select one of these now, let me lock this open so that's not flying back and forth every time. Now I can see I have two object data tables attached to one singular piece of text. Okay. Well, what can we do there? Well, we know that these inlets, and I'm going to go ahead and select them here, these inlets go to pond 1. So I'm going to come up to the drainage DA, highlight all those pieces of text first, of course, and I'm going to call this pond 1. Okay, making sure not to edit the post inlet object data record. Okay, so now I can select each one. You can see they all say pond 1. So this is breaking this single drainage area. We have subcategorized as it goes to pond 1, and it also knows that this one goes to I-11, pond 1, I-10, so on and so forth. So we do the same thing for everything that goes to pond 2. You know, I know the site, so I know which to select here, and you would know the same. 2. Okay, and the bypass, you know, is just bypass. So I'm going to, and I actually want it in this project. We want it to be split up because I want to know how much goes through each culvert through there. And actually, same thing here. This doesn't go. This is channel. So that's a channel that bypasses this pond. So you can break it down by selecting each piece of text individually there, or a group of them together, and designate where they go. So I'm going to unisolate here as well. And then we can do this one more time. Database, generate links. And of course, I shouldn't have unisolated to database, generate links again. And I'm going to attach my BMP designation. So my best management practice for my water quality or whatnot. I actually have that going on here as well. It's S for select, select all these, and enter. And what happens here is we have, these are rain gardens. So certain inlets, let me show you the piece here. Certain inlets, these inlets drain down and go into rain garden 1. These inlets go into rain garden 2. This comes into rain garden 3. All this comes around and goes into rain garden 4, and then they go into the ponds. So I actually have some BMP water quality going on here that I need to take care of. So I'm going to do this as well. Oops. So knowing this is rain garden 1, I'm going to select these pieces of text, and they all go to this one bypasses rain garden 1. So I'm going to put RG1 here, this and this. It's RG2, this. Actually, that and that are RG3, and this is rain garden 4. Okay, so these inlets drain down, get into rain garden 4. Rain garden 4 goes into 3, and so on and so forth. And that's if you've ever done water quality analysis, you have to delineate that kind of stuff. What drainage areas go to what BMP, and even for just infiltration and stormwater management, you might need to do that as well. Okay, so we have everything broken down. We have all these different object data tables connected to these pieces of text. So for any piece of text I select, I can tell, what's happening. Oh, okay, well this inlet here, I6A, it goes to rain garden 3, which ultimately goes to pond 2 for management, and for conveyance is I6A. And what we can do here now is we can create topologies from this information. So I'm going to right-click on, I'm actually going to make it a little easier on myself, isolate the text and the links. I just have those to deal with. I'm going to right-click on topologies, hit create topology. I'm going to call this post DA. Of course, how do I know that? Where is it? Here it is. Post-development drainage areas, post DA right there. Okay. That's my T. Make sure I have it right. Post DA, good. Links. It's this layer, 00 DRN post. Centroids. These two layers, I had to separate these, put my BMP centroids on a different layer just for presentation purposes for maps for the project. And uncheck my create missing centroid. So it's really just name it, select the layer that has the line work, select the layer that has the centroids, and always come down here and uncheck the create missing centroids. Hit finished, and that created this post-DA drainage map. We'll do the same thing again. I'm going to come in here and do post INL for my inlet drainage map or drainage areas. Let me pull this up again, make sure I have it right. So it's post inlet is the name. You can even copy it out of there. Paste it in. Same layers. So I can go to, that's set already. This is set already. Uncheck here, hit finished. Okay, there's my, this is for stormwater management. This is for conveyance. I'll do another one here, hit create. Topology. And post BMP if you're doing water quality or you need to get drainage areas to specific BMPs. And just go down and hit create, uncheck the create missing centroids. Real simple. All right, so that from that one set of line work, I can generate now a whole bunch of stuff. So let's minimize that AutoCAD window here. Hit save. I haven't hit save in a while. And the first thing I want to do is focus on stormwater management. So that is going to deal with my post-DA topology here, my post-drainage area. So it's going to deal with the pond 1, pond 2 kind of world there. I'm going to right-click on analysis, hit overlay analysis, and load. All right, so which one do I need to load? Come down to my topology combination guide here, and I want to do post-development drainage areas and soils. So, okay, so 4 with soils, and I'm going to do 5 next with post-CD complete. Okay, got it. So 4, make sure it's overlaying with soils. Hit finished. Right click on the one it just created. Do analysis again. Hit load. Do 5 this time as we saw on our little map. Hit open. Next. Make sure it's overlaying it with post CV complete. So that's the combination of pre and post covers added together, and we did that last time. Hit finished. Just going to load that. It just tells me it has some slivers. Slivers are minute, very minute areas, fractions of an acre, fractions of a foot. Just let me know they're there. We're not concerned with it. And you can see now it broke these areas down for pond 1 and pond 2. So if I type in PD mode, so this is an old AutoCAD command, and it can show me the little nodes. These are the little centroids it created. So if I click on any given one of these, say for instance this home here, I can see that what soil type it is, what pond it's going to, and what the cover type is. So that's a roof, for example. If I click on this driveway, it's going to pond 2, it's impervious, and it's this soil type. So we're going to use this and export this out. So PD mode again, set that to 0, or 1, you don't see them. And we're going to go up to query, run external query, go to R, templates, topology, just as before. And I want to export this post DA soil CV. So post DA soils CV. Hit open. It's going to shoot that out for me. So as AutoCAD's doing that, I can get my screens set up here. So it just shot out this file to XShare again. I'm going to cut that, paste it into my T drive project. I'm going to copy my Excel file that I used to compress, and I'm going to bring that down and call this post. All right, double click on it. Enable macros. Make sure I don't forget to change this to post. Okay, so we're going to make our post HydroCAD file now. Go to my drainage map column. We need to get this data out of here. This is our pre. Hit clear content. Hit open. Browse out and find that file that we exported. That is a comma delineated file, so we have to change that to comma. And one thing you'll notice here is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns of data. And here we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, what do we do? Well, the cover type is 1 column. And in this export, where this is the post cover and this is the pre-cover, so channel 1 has some area that drains to it that's still in the pre-developments, meaning it's non-disturbed area. So we're going to have to combine these columns together. Well, how do we do that simply? We just click on the columns, go across the top, highlighting, and that if you drag across the top columns there, it highlights all the way down to the very end of the Excel file. So that's very important that you do that. Go up to data, go to sort, change this to column B and C. So it's going to sort by column B and C, of course. And then it's going to line everything up. So these are all the drainage areas that were in pre-development, have some pre-development component part of it, or have drainage that is in non-disturbed area. I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift and Control, hit the down arrow, right-click, hit Cut, paste it into the column B, and just delete column C then. Go all the way back to the top. Column A1, make sure you're on A1. Hold down Shift, Control, both of them together at the same time. Hit over, hit down. hit copy, and just paste that right into my data sort spreadsheet. Go back to the control panel. Make sure that this has a new file, because if you wouldn't have updated this, it would now go and add that content to the already created HydroCAD file for pre, which is not really what we want. You need 2 separate HydroCAD files, so don't forget that. And also don't forget to include the extension. That's critical. Hit Update HydroCAD File. It's going to say, is it going to create missing nodes? Yes. Please do that. It's going to create it, save it, close it. And it asked me if because it's going to close Excel, it asked me if I want to save that changes to the text file. I'm going to hit no, keep that intact. Go to my HydroCAD directory. Now I have a post. Open that up. Zoom back a little bit. And there we go. So now you have your drainage map to pond 1, pond 2, here's that channel, and here's bypass 3. Of course, it's all filled out. And you can see this list is quite long. We got 9 or 8 distinct drainage classifications there. Most of that is because in this project we had to do water quality. So we had to actually break it down into lawn, high input, so on and so forth. So that's what you'll see there. If you had an SCS breakdown, it probably wouldn't be 9, but you still have a bunch. So of course there's my area. You can validate that. You still have to do your TC, which is a little easier in post. It's probably 5 minutes depending. And you're off to the races there as well. So I'm going to hit save. That one's good. And you'd have to do the whole HydroCAD design part where you make models and so on and so forth, and model ponds and move inlets up and down, or outlets, structures, and move the orifices up and down, so on and so forth. So that's our post management. Let's do post inlets. All right, we already have that set up here. So I'm going to right-click on post inlet, hit analysis, hit overlay, hit load, go to my inlet drainage area on soils. So that's going to be 6 and 7. It's going to overlay with soils and post complete. Okay, makes sense. Do 6, open, next. It's supposed to be soils, finished. Go to my post inlet soils one, right click on that. You're always right clicking on the next one, and it's stepping down through. Analysis, overlay, load. Said 7 is the next one. Next, hit post CV complete, finished. Okay. Get slivers in. You didn't notice anything pop on the screen. Well, it's basically the same breakdown, except for now it's not going to combine these together as going to pond 1. It's going to know that this one's I-13 and this one's I-11. Same routine, go up to query, run external query, browse out to R, templates, topologies. This time I'm going to do the post inlet soils CV because that's what I'm trying to export here. Hit open. It's going to push that out. As that's doing that, I can get set up again. I'm going to copy this one more time. Call this inlet stormwater management, I guess. Here's my file that I want that it shot out for me. I'm going to right click on that, hit cut, paste that into my P drive project, open up my inlet stormwater management Excel sheet that I just copied. And don't zone out on me because there's a little different step here. Now I'm going to not making HydroCAD files anymore. I'm going to make HydroFlow because that's where we do our storm conveyance analysis. So I'm going to clear out that row up there at the top, go over to my map import drainage, clear the contents here as well, file open. I'm going to pull up this inlet, comma delineated, got to sort the rows again. see. Okay. Paste. Delete. All right. So pasted that in, same procedure there, got it down to one column, pasted it in. Come back to the control panel. And now I want to, past this button, I want to do the next thing, a HydroFlow file. So talking about HydroFlow. The best way to do that, and we've talked about it before, is set up your conveyance design in Civil 3D, and you can export it as an XML. And then I'm going to go ahead and import. I already have one set up, so I'm going to go to open up HydroFlow 2009, go to In and Out under XML. I'm going to browse out to the XML file that I exported from Civil 3D. So you already did a preliminary layout, of the project. Got your pipes in there. Oop. And you sent that out. So hold on, let me reports. Out of Civil 3D. So this is the file I exported out of Civil 3D. Right. Hit open again, click it, click select network part. So there's a bunch of clicks. You browse to it, hit open, click it here, then select pipe networks here, and it should show you how many structures and everything you have. Hit import, and that imports everything in. Okay, so what's there's a good amount of work in design and setting this all up to model your conveyance system. One of the pieces is that you need the drainage areas, right? You don't have any drainage area or C coefficient for any of these inlets. So what we're going to do is you're going to use that Excel file that we have, that inlet one, to push all the drainage areas in to this HydroFlow file. So as you can see here, if I click on any given inlet and hit data, I don't have any drainage area or Manning's, or rational coefficient here. So I'm going to save this file in my projects. I'm going to go C for training purposes. Make another directory called Hydro or HydroFlow. And just call this site conveyance. Save. Hit OK. I'm going to close this file down. Bring up my network path here, and I need to insert this path into my Excel file. So I'm going to go to where that HydroFlow file is located. I can just copy the address part out of my Windows Explorer here. Go back into my inlet worksheet. Oh, no. I already have it open. So it's already open there. I'm going to paste in that path, but I still need to put on the whole file name and so on and so forth. So go back to here. Oop, wrong directory. I'm going to copy out file name as well and paste that in. Make sure, again, to have the STM extension. Okay. Now, it's important that you have that HydroFlow file closed, because it's going to physically open the file and push the data in. So make sure you have it closed and just hit Update HydroFlow. It says it's processed the rational data. Okay. And HydroFlow file has been updated. So it's going to save this file and close it. And again, it's asking me if I want to save the changes to that text file. No, I don't. Let's go back to our HydroFlow file. Open it up. The dialog box is like behind everything on the other screen. Open that file up, hit OK. And now if I click on any one of those inlets, you will see it has the drainage area to it and the rational coefficient. So it just pre-populated all that information for us right into the HydroFlow file. So we didn't have to do any of that manual editing. So of course that's good, save that. And of course there's design work to do here now. You have to set, they all come in as manholes. You have to set them to inlets and so on and so forth. But from this point, you would never have to do that again. So that is that. So hopefully you get the picture there. The next piece, I'm going to do a lunch and learn beginning of next year here on how to do the treatment train analysis with this whole methodology here, and we have another whole worksheet. So if you need to do treatment train, essentially, if you don't know what I'm talking about, treatment train is if you can't infiltrate on the site, you have to do water quality. Well, to do water quality, essentially you're going to have rain gardens and maybe wetland ponds and some level spreaders, just off the top of my head as an idea. And you're going to have to put them in a train. And what I mean by that as well is these inlets maybe have a snout. They come down, so the snout takes out certain percentage of contaminants. This rain garden takes out a certain percentage of contaminants. When I'm talking contaminants, I'm talking total suspended solids, total phosphates, total nitrates. Then this water goes into this one, and so on and so forth. So it's really a numbers game on how to, you're taking the area, taking the contaminants, dividing by a percentage, going to the next one, adding, because as this is taking the load from this one, but now it has its own drainage area, so it has different load, and it has to calculate all that out. Well, it's essentially use the same procedures as we did today. There's another worksheet in here under our templates under NPDS called this pollutant load sheet, and if you double click on that and open that, essentially understanding what we did here today, you understand this, hit load macros here. Same thing, map import, so I would do the BMP, I go down here farther, and I would do the BMP over soils, BMP over cover, and then I'd have to cut off, or if you need to do that, this cuts the BMPs down to only look at the drainage area, or the area disturbance for your treatment train. You'd talk to your conservation district about that if you're doing that or not. But then you take that information, same thing, BMP, cover, soil type, area, square footage, paste it into here, and then you can hit create worksheets, and it will do that whole treatment train thing for you. So same methodology, just a different worksheet. And that's why when we did this drainage area maps, we attached this third one here, the post BMP, because that's what we'd use there for that. Any questions? I mean, it sort of flew through it. Hopefully, you can refer back to this, and hopefully you guys out there that have been using this, you can see how we've hopefully bridged the gap between the two different ways of running this, and now you can sort of get the best of both worlds. One thing I did want to talk about, if nobody has any questions, I don't see any coming up there. If you do see one person on the, if you have a microphone or you're on the telephone and you'd like to verbally ask a question, go ahead and put your hand up a while. I'm going to show something here real quick while we wait. But a big benefit of this is that if I say I need to revise this drainage area, say we change the grading, and I need to now move this drainage area line over something like this, and I need, it's not just one, right? You tweak everything, so everything gets a little bitty tweak, right? So I'm tweaking this and tweaking that, and as the grading gets closer and closer to complete, I'm tweaking here and there and everything else. Well, by moving those lines, I updated, and it depends, if you're updating a line that's the division between pond 1 and pond 2. But if it is, like this line here, if I update and move this line, well, I updated a bunch of things. I just updated 3 topology maps. I updated my BMPs, what flows to my BMPs, what flows to my inlets, both inlets, because they both change, and what flows in between pond 1 and pond 2. So you think, oh, is it totally automatic? No. I'd have to delete all the overlay templates. So to do this, I would go down and delete each one of these, and I would select to delete geometry. So I have to go back and do some of the steps here. So I'd delete the soils. Oh, I click on here, administration, delete geometry. Yes, yes. Administration, delete delete geometry, yes, yes. Administration, delete. Delete geometry, yes, yes. Okay, now each of these drainage maps, I might need to go back into them, go under administration, hit recreate. So it's sort of, to me, it should really say update. So you'd have to right click on each of these and hit recreate. Recreate. And then I just go through that overlay process again. One thing that gets you every time is you delete the overlay topologies. You also have to go up to the object data, click define object data, and you have to delete the object data records it used. So I'm going to have to go into here as well and delete the post inlet CV. So look for stuff with underscores. That's what you want to delete. Yes. And I do the same thing here. Now that's pre stuff. So I want to make sure I'm on post inlet. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, post DA soil CV, got it. Delete that. Yep. Yep. And that's pre. It is easy to get confused in there. You do have to keep, be on the ball when you're looking in here to delete stuff. Okay, so then I could redo those topology overlays. I would bring those into my my spreadsheets, and when a lot of this stuff we were creating because it was the first time we ran through, but it also updates. So it will go into the HydroCAD file. It will find Pond 2. Oops, of course I clicked on the wrong one. When you click Update HydroCAD, it will find the Pond 2 drainage area and update the appropriate. It will update this table. It will also go into the HydroFlow file and will update inlet 6A and 6. So you get into this process-based method of doing stormwater management where you do a preliminary cut, you get everything in, you design it up, and then you'll come back later once the design is, grading is completely 100% done. You tweak lines, tweak it so it looks right and everything's actually correct, and just run through that, which probably will only take like 15 minutes. Most likely the tweaks are small enough that your pipe designs won't change, but you'll validate that if they need to go up or down. Or your ponds probably won't change, but you'll validate that if they need to go change some structures out, and then send it out the door. And you can do that all. You make your updates probably for this a site of this magnitude. I could do that all probably in 15 minutes, just a bunch of clicks going down through in the same workflow. So without any further questions, I don't see any on the board. I don't see any hands raised. I thank everybody for showing up, and hopefully you can see the whole picture come together of doing stormwater management with Civil 3D and Map 3D to streamline the process. Thanks, everybody.